Hello, welcome to another live stream. Today we're going to be making two retainers on these models, and we're going to see how far I get on them. Interesting with these is they both have labial acrylic and soldered C's or welded C's, so I'll show you how I do those on mine, and we'll get started. But hope everybody's doing good. My name is, if you don't know, my name is Cade. My wife and I own a small little lab out here in the country, and this is what we do for a living. So I like to make these videos, do live stream, help out training the next generation of orthodontic lab technicians, and hanging out with those lab technicians that like to watch and just have a good time together. Oh, we already got some. Elect Martinez, hello. Oh. And then, of course, my son Beckett is helping me today. So he's got some things going on. Say hi, Beckett. Hi. So Beckett's over there making sure the stream's going good when we're pushing all the buttons right. But there's something important we got to do first. And I think it's very important considering this is a wire bending course, and of course that is I got a bit of bad news for everybody, and I don't worry, I'm doing fine. But if we could have a moment of silence for my favorite pliers. They broke. They finally broke. I'm sad. So let's get a little moment of silence for my pliers. Yeah. When you lose a pair of good pliers, it's a sad day. But as we retire these to the stack of broken plier rack, just rest in peace. We now can open up the new plier packet. Which I think I ordered the wrong ones. These are huge, but I'm trying to get used to them. They are 835 Birdbeak Adams plier. I don't think Adams is right, but they're out with the old and in with the new, as they say. I don't know what happened there. Can you hear me, Beckett?
Yeah.
Nope, it's the wrong mic. All right, now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Should be a little bit better. Well, of course, I change out the the pliers in my, something happens to my live stream camera. So I don't know what happened. Oh yeah, you know the feeling. I see what you did, Amy. What? Oh, I miss Beckett. There we go. Rest in peace. Rest in pieces. It is in pieces. Hello, Amy. How you doing? Iliac. I see what you did, Amy. LOL. You're back. Yes, I'm back. I took last week off, and as you gotta forgive my voice. It is, I'm coming down with something or getting rid of something, and so I'm losing my voice. Can't hear out of this ear, all the fun stuff. They were not that old. Maybe 4 or 5 years old. I thought they were going to go the distance. They were probably one of the best that I've had. They were Dentronics. And I did bent a wire, but I was doing a twist at the same time, and it just separated. So I must have had a small fracture in there and didn't know it. Yeah, they weren't that old. I've had older pliers like this one. There's a logo on here from my lab that I started back in 2004. So these are 20 years old now. This is broken too, but it had broken within when these broke. That's the reason I bought those other ones. And I thought I had some. No, they were. I have some other ones that are about 20 years old, still working great. They just don't make pliers like they used to. Unfortunately, but the pliers I do have that are 20 that are still working, they're about the same size as these. They're kind of large ones, 134Ls or something like that I got from Great Lakes back in the early 2000s. They were definitely they've lasted a very long time. But my wife has them right now. She ran out of ornament hangers, and so she asked if she could use some old ortho wire, and we made some ornament hangers for her last night, and so I used those pliers. They're still in the house with my other cutters. So right now we're just going to prep these. This is going to be a continuous lingual arch with a labial bow, welded C's on the fours or the first bicuspids, and labial acrylic. So it's a little bit of a challenge. And what I tend to do is I can't paint and talk at the same time, I guess. What I tend to do is do the wire bending on everything, put it in the pressure pot, pop it out of the pressure pot, and then add my welded wires on. So, yep, tool down, Amy. We had a tool that went down over the Thanksgiving break. I guess it was done. Yeah, they definitely don't make things like they used to anymore. Definitely with the pliers. And I even talked to Priscilla over at JBC and Company. They're the where I buy the acrylic, pretty much my acrylic, my wire, almost everything. I was talking to her the other day about pliers because I'm still recording my Wire Bending 101 online course. I'm still recording that, and I was wanting to get together a kit for people to buy from her, where it'd be like a set of models, some wire, and a couple pliers. And she goes, "Man, I'm having the hardest time sourcing pliers." She'll put in a huge order to Dentronics or Leone or something, and she said, "I'll get one every few months." So they're definitely on back order. So maybe that means that they're going to be good quality. Those out there watching this live stream, or even the ones watching the recording, let me know how old's your oldest pliers that are still in use today. Like I said, I have one pair left that's probably 20, maybe 16 years old. It's going to have labial acrylic, so I'm going to wax in between. There's a lot of little undercuts in this model. I wanted to reorder the same exact pliers, but I couldn't find them. Priscilla said they just stopped making the Dentronics ones, or she can't resell them anymore. So I don't know if anybody's got a lead out there. PUK old, oh yeah, old plier. I think everybody who's a wire bender knows you get a good wire bender. Someone didn't use it as a wishbone. It looks like it, right? Yeah, I'm the one that broke it, so I can't blame anybody else but myself. Well, where did I put those pliers? I put them in the graveyard of broken pliers. See, there's broken one. There's a bent one. There's a bent one. Those never worked good. That broken tip there. Oh, no, where did I put them? Oh, I don't see the broken side. So those are just joining. My favorite pliers broke. Just broke right here. I never had one break here before, right at the hinge. But you can see there's not much of attachment there. But these were my favorite. They withstood a lot. I wasn't even using, maybe I was using 030 or 032 wire. I wasn't using a heavy wire. Usually I break them with, abusing them with a heavy wire. My father's pliers from 1980 we're still using, right? They just don't make pliers like they used to. We used to buy from Dent Supply in Philadelphia, and since they had the company there, they will get it fixed for you. No, these are Dentronics, Dent Supply. I might have to look into that. They still doing that? Fixing them? They don't make them like they used to. They don't have the warranties like they used to. I mean, I get it. You know, there's business involved in pliers, and if one lasts from 1980, you mean you don't sell many of them because they're just selling that one. But again, that's the state of most things today. Is they work for a couple years and then you just buy a whole new one. There's no fixing them. They're planned obsolescence is the term. I think it started with the light bulbs. If I'm not mistaken, there's still like a light bulb that's 100-something years old, still burning in a fire station. So that's a good challenge. I can't ruin them anymore. So yeah, I guess maybe I'll try to weld those back. I just don't think my weld will go deep enough into it. I could really only do the surface. I don't know if my welder's that powerful enough. But yeah, I'll definitely try that. That'd be a good challenge to do. All right, so I'm letting those dry on my dryer here. Becky, I'm going to find us some music to play in the background. I'll turn it down a bit. I don't know, it's been kind of cold and wet in Texas the last few days. I know that's not dry yet, but I can do the internal part, the continuous rest wire, while I'm waiting it to finish drying. Hopefully I can do it without touching the sides. Don't want to touch it too much. Is that too bright? Kind of looks too bright. Put Gorilla Glue in the middle. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, Amy, I might do that. Maybe I'll have to make a whole video on it, and if it works, everybody can thank me. The bad thing is if your tip breaks off and it goes flying across the room and you never see it again. But that one, yeah, I got both pieces still intact. Those watching the live stream, okay, I'm looking for my other pliers, and I don't recognize these anymore, or it's not part of my routine. They're a little bigger than I wanted, but they still make a pretty decent, tight little 90-degree bend, so it's not bad. And in fact, I was going to send them back and go, oh, but I actually ordered the large ones. But I was like, you know what, Cade? These will probably withstand your abuses better than the little ones. How many coats do you put? I put 2. Definitely 2. Sometimes I'll do 3 if I lost count. Just to make sure I'm doing at least 2. So I do a coat, I let it dry, and then I do another coat, let it dry, and I go from there. A little bright. So yeah, these do a pretty good job. Again, they're just big. I feel like I can't get it. And, you know, again, you're not supposed to really bend against the model, but sometimes you got to. Man, I really cannot hear on my left ear. It's weird. All right, let me get the... So you see how I was like, well, I can probably bend this without touching. Because you don't want it to touch the inside. So it just kind of hovers in there. I can't tell if you can't see that or not very good. This is such a dark model. I put this paper down because last time it worked pretty good, but I think I was using a stone models. So maybe I need to take the paper towel away. So then I just hold it with my finger on this side while I'm waxing that side, and then it should hold it in place. And Perry, your question's going to come in handy in a little bit. Let me... Oh, not an 030 wire? No way. That's interesting. Guess I'll use 032. That is not the right setting. Nope. That's the setting. Yep. So before I start, that needs a little bit of time under the fan. See, I already lost count on this one. Was it iliac? You had the idea of marking these with each coat, so then I can kind of. I don't know if y'all hear the ducks or not. I think my wife is going to feed the ducks. You mark here and here that you've painted it, so you don't lose count. I think that was a good idea. I think that was you. All right, let's get back here to this. I got to turn up the brightness so you can see the model. But then can you see the wire? Yep. Not me, but it's a great idea. Okay. I forgot who that was that commented of marking the models. I hear her out there. I can't see, it's dark. Out there feeding the... There's one before that. Let's see. A good friend of mine mentioned he puts 2 coats, and sometimes he still sees a little film. He has to get it off with a wire wheel. That's my latest... Oh, like the film of the separator? He has to get off of the wire wheel? Or is it the model is stuck to the acrylic and he has to get off of the wire wheel? That happens, but it's kind of rare now, because I'm pretty liberal with my coats of separator. But as far as the separator transferring to the acrylic, this is water soluble, so it washes off really fast. So the model cleanup is pretty good. So while I'm bending this labial bow, I'm thinking about the welded C that's going to go here. So I'm trying to keep, I want to keep my adjustment loop perfectly parallel with the tooth, or parallel, yeah, in line with the tooth. I don't want it going like that or like this, and then it causes my C clasp to lean in or out. And I don't tend to like that. Just kind of curving it around. Make sure everything's in the right spot before I mark this wire. I'll mark it right there. Then I'll do my 90. Get my old trusty loop formers, which are broken also, but not the important part. There's supposed to be a tinier loop right there, but I always break those off every single time. I think these are my old ones too. I've modified them to where they make a little bit smaller loop. I don't like the default loop. The loop formers from Great Lakes, I feel like they've gotten taller and taller each time. I think in one of my videos, if you look it up on my channel, it is like my 5 favorite pliers or my 3 favorite pliers. I think I do side by side on the new Great Lakes loop former and the old Great Lakes loop former. You can see the size difference in the loops. They're just really tall. And, you know, maybe that's the industry standard, but I've always made like kind of short loops. And some do it right, and they just bend the loop using a bird beak like this, and they just bend it to the mouth. It's the perfect height, which is usually like 2 millimeters beyond the gum line. Okay, before I do that, let me check the level of this. Nope. Yes. No. No. Yes. Okay, I can live with that. No, I can't. I'm just going to tighten this up a little bit. This side seemed a little further toward the gums. Yeah, that looks a little straighter. So now all I do is a little basic bend on the inside. Where'd my marker go? There we go. Boop. Is that touching the tori? If there's tori here, you can't see. There's tori here, so I'm making sure my wires don't touch the tori, and that way I can clear the acrylic away. So then I'll just cut this short right here. And my model holder's squeaking, so that is not my breathing. Although I think I almost had pneumonia last week. Beckett had pneumonia, right, Beckett?
Yeah.
You didn't like it too well, did you?
Well, I got to skip school. So.
You got to skip school. That's what you were excited about. Yeah, our poor Beckett, he lost some weight. He was getting nauseous, couldn't eat. I think you were depressed because you couldn't eat. And our Beckett, he's a foodie. He likes his food. Where'd that go? Yeah, that doctor did a great job. Okay. All right. Here's the truth. I had to reset one of these teeth. So Sawyer reset the tooth. Is this one. This one was crooked, and he reset it to straight before he printed it. Yeah, it's definitely one of the a good one. But yeah, I don't know if I'd have to check my records. Is this a patient that I've made one for already, and I'm just replacing them? Or are they coming out of braces and the doctor's like, oh, that tooth isn't exactly where it needs to be? Okay, so Perry, your question about 2 coats, it kind of comes into play here. So I've already coated this for labial acrylic on here and here. Now, I need to wax this down, but if I wax it here, my acrylic's gonna go there. If I wax it here so I can tack on C-clasp, I can tack wax here, but not here. You see what I'm saying? So if I put wax here, it's gonna peel off those 2 coats. I gotta repaint everything. So that's why I started with the ones that have labial acrylic. I'll wax them down my usual spot, which is the exact spot where I'm gonna be laser welding later. But I do need to hold these in place while I put the acrylic on. So I'm temporarily holding it in place. I'm going to put labial acrylic and the lingual acrylic on, pull it out of the pressure pot, and then I'll come back and steam this off, this wax off, and bend a wire, and then weld it, bend a wire, and weld it, and call it a day. Then take it off the model and do the underside. I would prefer doing the welding before I do the acrylic, because sometimes trying to get the underside of this with the welder underneath it, it's hard to do. So this is going to get labial acrylic, so I'm putting some hot glue across there just to make like a dam. You can use wax or whatever. It just helps me take off the retainer, because it gets if I don't make it perfectly cut across there, it really holds on there. A little WD-40 would go a long way, right? Yeah, I usually keep some. It's in the drawer up there. It's Marvel's Mystery Oil or something. I don't know what's in it. It's a mystery. But yeah, I would use WD-40, but that smell stays forever. All right, so let's do the upper. And the upper won't take long because it's only 1 wire. And I'm going to show you the script here. Make sure there's nothing showing of the patient. Let's see him. Yeah. No. Like this. All right. So, doctor did a nice job. Yeah. Well, that green dot right there, right here, tells me I got to reset the tooth. So, sorry to reset it. So, it wasn't a perfect job. I did have to reset a tooth. So, that tells me, I'll tell Sawyer that you said he did a great job resetting that tooth. That it looks good. I'm going to move this over to here. That one's ready for acrylic. And then we'll go straight into this one. Let me back this one up. It's a bigger mouth. Three in one. That's it. I think that's what I got. 3 in 1. I think that's the oil, not Marvel's Mystery Oil. 3 in 1. Vicks Vapor Up will work too, like on the squeaky ball joint. Vicks Vapor, like you would use for your chest. Because if so, that would work out great. Because I'm congested and I would just be smelling. It'd smell better than WD-40. See, I gotta get one of those hot glue things. Yeah, I got this one from Great Lakes. It's wireless, so I don't have to worry about cables and stuff. And when you put it in the charging thing, that's when it heats up the hot glue, and then pull it off. You do your application. The power's off, but yeah, I'm gonna try the Vicks thing. I got one. Well, we got some for Beckett. Looked like a deodorant stick. And it's a new stick that came out, Vicks. I might go grab some of that tonight. All right, so I'm changing my loop former. I like this loop former better. And again, I broke the tiny one off. Fair warning, use smaller wires. Or don't use huge wires on your small loops. This is the wrong size wire. I knew that felt weird. You ever just bend something and you're like, that's just the wrong size wire. Let's try that again. So I'm gonna make my arch. I was watching, as y'all know, I'm still building my wire bending 101 online course. And so I was watching a good friend of mine, Jay Tyler. Many of you may know him. He's probably the pioneer. He's the one that had the first VHS series of ortholab techniques. And he came out with a DVD series maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and he gave me one to review. And I think I promoted it on this channel. I've had him on my channel a few times. He's a great guy. But I was watching him, he had just a little chapter of wire bending. And I was just kind of getting some ideas from him, how he taught people. And the very first thing he taught was this arch forming thing, how to make an arch with your hands. And I thought, well, that's pretty neat. I do that and I don't even think about it. There's so many things you don't think about until you're trying to teach someone. Okay, so that's pretty much where I want it. I just need to get this to, again, I try not to scuff up the separator. It's nice and dry and shiny. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I make my mark on the other side and I don't check everything else. So I make my 90. So these loop formers I like to do for my upper retainers. Just because, those canines are just slightly bigger. This makes a slightly wider and not as tall adjustment loop. Hey Beckett, look in the banners section. Excuse me. See if there's one that says acrylic application. I need to start doing this more often. I think it helps people find the section they're looking for. Because these live streams, they're an hour long. And I do an hour because you really can't get anything done in an ortho lab in under an hour. Most hollies I would say take an hour or so. Did you find it? In the very right hand side it says comments, banners, brand, private chat. In the brand section, is there one that says, sorry, not brand, banners? No, it doesn't. All right, make one that says acrylic application. Oh, there's that squeak. Kind of reminds me of the squirrel on National Lampoon's Vacation. What's that squeaky noise? Yeah, okay, don't display it. Yeah, I'm not doing it. Now make one that says wire bending. Okay, you can do that one. Okay, yeah, we're doing wire bending right now. Okay, you can remove it. Let me get these little... Okay, before I cut them too short, let me check the front. Okay, looks good. I'm checking to make sure that these aren't at weird angle, leaning back or leaning forward. I think that squeak has become the new Pete. And Pete's doing good, by the way. There we go. Just dropped into place. I love that feeling. I'm going to do a quick little experiment since I'm kind of done here. See if this shows up better. It does. Of course it does at the very end. Okay, so same thing. This one, I could put wax right up here at the top. The loops are a little bigger. But again, I'm going to cover this corner with acrylic, and I don't want wax under there. So I'm going to have to weld. What you would do if you were soldering this, because that does kind of destroy the model. It's a little, you would definitely do it before you do any acrylic, because you will melt the acrylic with the little solder flame. I don't know if you got one of the hydrofluxes or little tiny flames, maybe not, but there's a good chance of melting the acrylic if you go to add these afterwards. But since I'm welding, I don't usually melt the acrylic when I'm welding. I have heated up the acrylic pretty good. So I am putting the acrylic, the wax right here, right where I'm going to weld, but I'm going to steam that off whenever I get it out of the pressure pot. And we'll add those C-clasps on there. I think I got a, yeah. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay, that one's ready for acrylic. I'm going to put my thing here. I always kind of wonder if I could do it in here. I just never thought about it. I tend to make pretty easy cuts in here with my X-Acto knife or whatever. And the only bad thing is this takes a little while to cool down. So you notice I did the other one, the lower one first, and it's over there already cool. And then by the time I pour that one up and get to this one, this will be cool. So, all right, let me set up a camera over here. Beckett, go ahead and entertain them. Sing it. Hey, you just had your choir thing. Sing a Christmas song. Put you on the spot. Okay. Now I was hoping that, entertaining with the, is that Lily? Yeah, it's Lily. She's giving them the stare down. Okay. Like I was saying, I was hoping that there would be some fun color we could do, but no, this person just wants standard pink. If y'all had to guess, those that work in an ortho lab, what percentage of your acrylics are standard pink? You pat that down. So I do the labial acrylic first. I think probably everybody does. Mainly, so if the color spills over, it won't get under the labial acrylic, because then you put a labial acrylic over the color, or you got to spend some time and clean the color. Of course, I'm kind of a sloppy acrylic guy. I just slap it on here. Time for the name. Let's slide that. So I put a little bit of acrylic, and I just slide that name into the wet acrylic. Add a little bit of powder to the front so it doesn't slump on me. It is 71 degrees in here, so my acrylic is not too... Well, I was at church this morning. I didn't have the heater going on in here at all, so it was pretty chilly. So I had to heat everything up a few hours before the live stream started, or else I'd be messing with some slumpy acrylic right now, because it'd be really cold. It'd be taking forever to set up or get its initial set. Beckett, I bet that the cat's probably better, the best entertainment we could give people tonight. She's our grumpy cat. She's very grumpy. She doesn't like any of the other cats. I can't hear you. She likes what? She has Tourette's? Remember, I can't hear out of my left ear. It stopped up. Never mind. Okay. I think I got everything there. That one didn't slump, which is good. So then I make my cuts here. You got to clear out the area for the acrylic. I mean, clean out this area for the clasp. And then you can do this cut if you want. You don't really have to, because you'll get a nice sharp line when you peel this hot glue off anyway. This doctor wants the acrylic to go halfway up the 7s. And then I'm going to make a cut here. It's kind of weird making that cut because there's a tora there. Ouch. There we go. Put that in the pressure pot. I'll tell you what, this labial acrylic always adds, almost could trim a whole nother retainer in the time for us it takes for the acrylic, the labial acrylic, the prepping for it, the actual sprinkling it, you know. And I do it a little bit thicker because it is the first thing I sprinkle, so it sets up faster than the rest. And so if it's going to bubble up, it'll bubble up on what I've noticed, on the surface first, and then work its way in to the thicker part of the acrylic. So I'll build it up a little bit, and that way, if it does have a few air bubbles or something from setting up too fast, I can just trim that part off and uncover fresh acrylic underneath. Usually tends to work out that way. And I'm patting it like this so I can work out air bubbles and stuff, and making sure the thickness, see, it's kind of thick. And of course, this is one of those models where I'm afraid I didn't wax out enough. This is definitely an adult. You can tell by how the gums are recessed a bit. Beautiful teeth though. Put the name in. For those that are just watching, I put the name in. It's required here in the state of Texas. Every state's different, so check your local laws. You know, usually it's in the Dental Practice Act, Texas Dental Practice Act. And it's slumping on me. But mainly it's like dentures and stuff. Anything removable, it's called patient identification. And actually the Texas Practice Act is like, in it you put the patient's social security number, name, or phone number, or the doctor's office number, or some identifying mark. I think it's for mainly like in nursing homes and stuff where all the patients there have dentures, and the dentures can get swapped out pretty easily, and if they're not marked, they can oh, this is Jerry's, what are you doing in Catherine's mouth? And so you can make sure that the right patient has the right, because unfortunately sometimes the patients don't realize they're wearing the wrong teeth. What? Oh, okay. I'll have to wait till I get done with this one. That should do it. Now, one thing you can do is wet this, re-wet it. It'll help kind of lubricate it so your cuts are a little smoother and easier. You can see it's almost at the almost perfect stage in setting up. It's got that rubbery, almost rubbery. So again, you don't have to cut this one against the labial acrylic. Add a little bit here. So now we make our cuts here, here, there, and then in here. I don't have any doctors that want full palette acrylic, thank goodness. I don't like doing those. I think of if I think about it, I'll link if anybody's interested. I did a full palette recently on one of the CDT exam models. This one. So I did a full palette on that one, and you can watch me complain about it there. Let's see. Bookmark this so that I'll remember where to insert that. Okay, so I got my that one on the cup. That's already pretty hard. So put that in the water, put that on the cup. With these 3D printed resin models, I usually don't have to worry about bubbles. So they can go directly in the water, it's totally submerged. Maybe it was Iliac, maybe it's you who gave me the idea of cutting a little pane in half with a little acrylic support foot on it, and I could have a whole half pan in there. So I rinsed off my hands. I usually wash my hands after I do acrylic. I guess I touched my cord going into my computer, and it it jostles it loose or something. I do not like that at all. I'm gonna have to separate my thing down there. Insert cat now while I'm doing the acrylic? That's better. Oh, y'all are just sitting there. What comment are you talking about? You can show it. Hi. Oh, Donna for him. Oh, it's been a while, I think. Donna, hasn't it? Oh, Perry, thank you for the Sunday videos. It's tend to work out pretty good. The Sunday videos, I think. You know, I get home from church and I unpack this camera because I take that one to church and we use it for one of our main cameras. Mount it back here, but pretty much everything else here is already set. Like my camera here. So I just turn things on and go, and it's kind of relaxing because I used to do it Friday afternoon because it was pretty dead in the lab Friday afternoon. But it started not being so dead where I had to get some work done. It got stressful. Like I still got to get work out. It's still a business. I don't get paid for YouTube, and so the business is what pays my bills. So I got to make sure the business takes priority. So usually Sunday's a pretty nice, relaxing day to do it. Yeah, I do remember you. I think I follow you on Instagram. You were putting up some of your first retainers you did on Instagram. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's you. So, all right, let me set up the camera. Beckett, you can switch to cat cam if you want. I gotta take one of these out of the pressure pot. Oh, I gotta find a knife. Oh, you don't have the cat in your lap anymore? That's okay, I'm looking for a knife. Somebody took my knife off my desk and, oh, I found it. Oh, that's not the one I want. This has got a broken tip to it. She looks like she's about to sleep. She just ate, so. So that one is done, so we'll put that in the water. This one is ready to come out. So you see how I just can pull that off? Oh, it's Honey Garfield on the screen right now. Can't really show this at this angle, but I'm mainly taking this and kind of digging and trying to pole vault it off or pry it off. I don't go this way because you can break it, so I try to go straight up. Good Lord, that sounds terrible. I think that one's losing its voice like me. And we're off. So that was 2 coats of separator. And separator on the front. So let me steam this real quick. And we'll put some C-clasp on here, some welded C-clasp. All right. Are you fighting with them? So one thing you got to do now is just make sure all the wax is gone. Another thing I'll do is if there's not enough undercut here, I think there's enough undercut there. Sometimes I'll just take like a little round burr and just make a nice little path in there. So nice having a handpiece right by where I bend wire. For years I didn't have one, which is really crazy that I went that line. I need to clean this up. It's got a little bit of flashing right there. So get rid of that. And so then it doesn't really matter where you wax it down. I'm the one who made the fake braces. Oh, I think I remember that. No, that's a different Donna. I do remember Donna for him. So yeah, I think there is a different Donna that was doing retainers. I think Amy likes the cats. So now we're ready for C-clasp. So I'm going to take a little smaller piece of 032 wire. I'm going to get a rubber wheel in here, and I'm going to round off the ends. And I just put it right in there in the embrasure, and I start bending around. Get off my finger. So we probably won't get both these done. And pretty much there we go. I like to get it nice and parallel in there. If y'all can see that, nice and parallel. I'll leave a little bit of an end on it. It's going to look kind of tall, and I'm going to have to grind that part off. But it gives me a handle to hold while I wax this in. I want those touching for sure. And so then I'll just go ahead and do the other side. I'll take my rubber wheel here. It's easier to round the wire now and than when it's on the model. So as y'all can see, I haven't trimmed the good part about doing that. And I got this idea from Don Inman, when he was one of the first ones to work on 3D printed models. And he's like, yeah, you can't solder these on, so you got to laser weld them. But the great thing about the laser welder is you can laser weld with the acrylic in place, intact. So he goes, that's our standard operating procedure is we do the acrylic all the way start to finish. I think they even pumice or trim, pumice and polish, and then they send it back to a certain department that will put these C-clasp on, and it's one of the last things they do. And then polish the polish them a little bit. It'll take a little bit of grinding. There we go. Every side's just a little different depending on how you bent your first adjustment loop. So I'm going to cut this all along again. And I do it like this sometimes, where I'll put a little bit of wax in there. Now you got to make sure you can probably do this without pulling it off the model. I just pulled it off the model out of the pressure pot out of habit. It's nicer when the model's nice and warm. The retainer's nice and warm. It tends to come off. The retainer tends to come off the model easier. So these are ready to go. I think I need to underexpose that a bit. So let's see if I still got that camera. Yep. All right, so let's show. Ow. I'll put these jaw right there. So this is my Puck D5 welder. I've turned it on, so it gives me this warning to use eye protection. You gotta touch it. So then I'll slide it over to stainless steel, and then I like to use this setting right here, which is 26% power and 3 milliseconds on the time. So let me take my glasses off, and I think I need to change my tip here. I don't know if y'all can see me changing the tip. So I have a box of sharpened electrodes, and then I have a little measuring, because this only sticks out so far out of this handle here. Now I'll tighten it, put the tip back on, and this tube has electrics going through it and argon gas. So the argon gas helps the oxidation process. So I gotta ground this off somewhere. Let's do right here. And there we go. If you can get those wires touching perfectly parallel, all the welding process goes like butter. It's nice. So we'll flip to the other side. Touch it with my grounding thing here. I don't push too far. I'm pushing away from the other wire. It's not making connection. There we go. Usually once you get that very first weld where the two wires join, you can just make your bead all the way up that. And then back down again. All right, so we got, I'm in the wrong place. So now I'm going to do the underside. So it just helps to, I'll do this side and the other side. Okay, I want to follow you on Instagram. What's your name? Name the same on there. Yes, it's Retainer Designer is my my Instagram handle. Retainer Designer. I'll post some pictures in there sometimes. Why didn't the doctor just extend the bow over where the C-clasps are instead of adding C-clasps? Good question. Well, you mean like move the labial bow over here? So the C-clasps aren't there as it's a strictly a retention device. So they didn't want, C-clasp back here, and they didn't want Adam's clasp. So they attach a C-clasp to the labial bow here and use the undercuts of the four for retention. So it's not there to retain the C's like the labial bow would. I guess that's your question. So they're just regular labial bow, and then these are the clasping to help give it more retention. So now I'm going to do the underside. Let's flip back to here. Oh, just did my glasses. There's a clamp there. I may not be able to see this very well. It's on the underside, so I have to snake my way in there with this and nothing. There it goes. If I can just get one good weld between the two wires, I won. I got the whole thing. Because I can just extend off of that. Because at the beginning, I'm going to keep that one clipped back here. This is all one continuous wire. So I'm going to keep that clip. Oh, I got to come at a weird angle. I hear you, Lily. Lily snuck into the lab part. Okay. So now, you can't really see it very well. You can kind of see it. Yeah, see that weld a little bit there, and that weld there. So all we have to do now is just grind. When we go to trim this retainer, I won't trim this retainer here. We're already over time. We will just trim this edge a little bit right here and smooth it. Make sure nothing catches the finger, and that's smooth to the cheek, and then that's it. And then this polishes right up. It does a really good job polishing. It's hard with that reflection on there. If I do this, yeah, there we go. But that is it. So then I do the same thing on the upper. Now I'll take the other one off. I'll put the C-clasp on, and then that's it. Then the trimming goes normal. So I send it to the trimmer, and then the trimmer knows when they see these soldered C's or welded C's now to just smooth off that little sharp point, make sure it's nice and smooth, and send it on its way. And that's it. I do love welded C's over soldered C's. There's a lot less prep work. You don't ruin the model. Sometimes when you soldered C's, you ruin the model, and especially if you do labial acrylic. It'll ruin the canine where you're gonna want to put acrylic, and so then you can't put acrylic over the canine because you've burnt it. But anyway, that's it. One thing I did want to announce is I will be at this conference, the 2025 ORG conference. It's April 4th and 5th at the Westin Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. So it's right near the airport. So if you want to fly in, to register, you go here, orthodonticresource.com. There's a button there. And let me tell you, there's an early bird special. The tickets are $800 a pop, but it covers all your meals. Well, like your lunches. Dinners are usually on your own, but usually we have a little something for you. But there'd be like karaoke one night. And you're just going to be hanging out with a bunch of other lab owners and managers and technicians for 2 days straight, and it is a lot of fun. And all the classes are there. Let me actually share this with you. The classes are all OrthoLab related. So you will have let me back up just a little bit. Let me share this screen for you so you can see what's going on there. Again, this is April 4th and 5th. Or, yeah, 4th and 5th. And is that being shared? Nope. There we go. So if you go to the website, Orthodontic Resource Group, click on this big black Build Your Future Ortho Lab, and it will take you to the website, and it will show you the course catalog. So mixed model course, learn the 3 different types of software, identify which 3D model software works for you. A mesh mixer course, some of us still use mesh mixer for a lot of things. Digital TAD placement, inventory management. So if you're, having to manage all the inventory like behind me, and this is from a guy, Josh Dobson. He's awesome. He actually worked for AAO for years and did the whole inventory for that huge lab. So he knows a lot about that. Getting past the gatekeeper, trying to get more doctors, how to get past the gatekeeper, that front desk person. And then communicating with the next generation of orthodontists is Tom Wright from ODL, one of the largest labs in the nation. And then understanding the why behind the appliance. This is Arlen Hurt from Specialty Orthodontic Lab. A lot of big names in the industry. And then leveraging AI to stream your workflows. This is CAD workflows. I'm actually probably going to use this pretty soon to do a digital splint and see how it goes. We're doing CPR training, so if you need to get your certification, you can get it there. Just confirm that on the email recently. And then this is new. If you ever seen this, the keyless RPE expander. You don't need a key. The kid can do it with their own finger. It's pretty neat design. The actual inventor of it is going to be speaking on it, and he's the chief medical officer, and I believe he teaches in Harvard also. So again, you can just go here and you can look at all the speakers and get their bio info. Registration, you can get your room night for $155 with our room block instead of $251. And then registration, if you're an ORG member, you get $100 off. But it's regular $800. But right now they're running an early bird special until the end of December at $550. So that covers both days. Excuse me, but not your not anything else. But in CPR is a little bit extra on top of that. So just wanted to throw that out there. The time is getting close. I want you to take advantage of that early bird special if you are interested in getting some money off. That's, about $300 or something off of the price of your admission. And again, if you're an ORG member and you own a lab, you can bring your technicians for even $100 cheaper than yourself. So bring your technicians. We're going to have classes for everybody. So that being said, I'm going to end that there. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me tonight as we do. This was 2 Holly retainers with welded C-clasp and labial acrylic, which made it challenging. But I showed you how I do it. Leave the comments how you do it, and be sure and subscribe, because I try to do it 5 o'clock every Sunday, but sometimes I have to move it a little bit. If you subscribe and hit that notification bell, it'll send you a notification whenever I do the live stream, and you can be sure and catch me on Sunday nights. And until then, like Amy says, have a great weekend, everyone. And until then, happy bending.